The Jacques Cousteau Reserve is part of a national network of 29 reserves around the country that are monitoring changes within our coastal wetlands. The reserve serves as a sentinel site for understanding the changes on coastal habitats. The Jacques Cousteau Sentinel Site is a Spartina salt marsh located on the Tuckerton Peninsula that serves as critical habitat for plants and animals, and acts as a buffer for local communities against storm impacts like flooding and inundation. The Sentinel Site monitoring data helps us understand marsh baselines and habitat change caused by climate change impacts like sea level rise. The future monitoring of the Sentinel Site will be expanded to address the effects of other environmental stressors on coastal habitats. Ultimately, this information will help local and regional coastal managers implement strategies to reduce future marsh loss.
At National Estuarine Research Reserves, on-site monitoring tracks trends in water, weather, nutrients, and vegetation at fixed stations. Collectively, this monitoring comprises the System-Wide Monitoring Program, also known as SWMP. SWMP is an integral component of the NERRS Sentinel Site program. The SWMP network of stations and robust data sets serve as a foundation for monitoring and assessing the impacts of climate change and sea level rise on local marsh systems. SWMP data have been collected year-round for almost 20 years, providing long-term, high-frequency environmental profiles of each location. SWMP is conducted at all 29 reserves using the same methods, equipment, and schedule. Each reserve's SWMP dataset is therefore a component of a larger singular national dataset managed by the NERRS Central Data Management Office and openly accessible at nerrsdata.org. SWMP data are also used to understand local short-term changes and acute events. Researchers utilize SWMP data to provide baseline environmental information for studies they conduct within the reserve. Local farmers and aquaculturists use SWMP data to plan and protect their crops. Citizens and policymakers access SWMP data to better understand and prepare for the effects of disruptive events like coastal storms, blizzards, and heat waves. Educators bring SWMP data into the classroom to address weather phenomena observed and experienced by their students. When combined and viewed over time, the SWMP data helps tell a story about the condition of our local estuary.
A major goal of the education sector within the reserve system is making data accessible, relatable, and understandable. Having access to data allows people to better understand our estuaries and therefore improve their decision-making about our coasts. At the Jacques Cousteau Reserve, we instruct teachers and students on how to access the System-Wide Monitoring Program, or SWMP, database and interpret the data. As a result, they learn about long and short-term changes to the estuary and understand real-world applications of the data. Incorporating SWMP into the classroom can help students improve data literacy, think critically, solve problems, and want to discover more about estuaries. Educators can also access the Estuaries 101 curriculum, which includes many lessons and activities that contain SWMP data applications. The JCNERR also uses our monitoring data as part of our social media outreach. This data has been very helpful in explaining weather or tidal events that have impacted our local communities. Estuaries play an important role ecologically and economically. SWMP reinforces that the health of the estuary is everyone's responsibility within the watershed. The decisions that we make impact everything downstream. Small changes in our daily lives can ensure we maintain a healthy estuary now and for future generations to come.